Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of our AMA report covering both technical and fundamental analysis of the crypto market. My name is William, head of XE Academy, and of course, your AMA host. Just before we start, let's just going to give you a quick introduction of XT Exchange. The company was founded in 2018 and currently serve more than 7.8 million users worldwide. We have about 1 million active monthly users right now and about 40 million users in the whole ecosystem. That comes up about 800 tokens and more than 1,000 trading pairs. So if you haven't opened an account yet, definitely come check it out. We have new listings every single week. Lately, we actually have a whole bunch of new listings every day that you don't really see on other exchanges because XT is just, we're really out there. We like to also help the small little guys out there and getting their Web3 projects up and started. So definitely come check it out and see all the new token listings. Unlike other traditional exchanges, though, XT incorporates lots of social features and enable users to engage with each other. And this one of these educational AMAs, as well as these weekly reports, are definitely one part of them. All right, a little bit about XT news. We have XT Cloud Mining, and it has launched already. I believe they have this interesting 45-day product right now for BTC Cloud Mining. So long story short, basically APY can literally go as high as like 108%. It's really crazy. So if you're always interested in Bitcoin mining, but you don't want to deal with like the hardware at par, you don't want to deal with the heat, the electricity bill, you can always come check out XT Cloud Mining right now. Currently, Binance and XT are the only ones providing cloud mining services. So I'm not sure if even people realize that, but so if you can't use Binance because they have very specific restrictions, then definitely come check out xt.com. XT also have very specific, interesting mining incentives. So if you're into cloud mining or if that's something you're interested in, this might even be a better option than Binance itself. So definitely compare the two, do your homework as well. Before we do get started into the technical analysis part, I do want to give a quick shout out for all the new token listings XT has this week, and we've had a bunch. Now we had like a crazy amount last week. I believe we had 26 new token listings last week, plus or minus one. But sometimes things can be delayed. But this week we have about 22, if you count the ones being listed today. I'm just gonna quick shout out for all of them. So we have JLP Fluff, we have Actio, PAL, Pro, GOG, Noya, Ladies, NXRA, MVL, Safe token. We have the Carrot Coin, the Runix token, the Egon, the Gummy, the Maneki, SDEX for SmartX. We have the Apex token. We have the VR for Victoria VR. We have ADF, which is for the Art de Finance project, DNX, and the BCC coin. The two out of all these 22 tokens really stood out to me were the April 23rd token listing for Maneki. That is up a staggering 319%. So if anyone bought into this and listening to this AMA, congratulations, you are in insane amount of profits. 300% within less than 3 days is ridiculous. All right. Another one, definitely a big mention, is the April 24th token listing for BCC for the Black Card coin. That's also up 334%. That is insane for something that's only been up for the last 2 days. So if you bought into it and you took profits, regardless if you're up like 100 or 200 or whatever, or if you're still holding, congratulations. For those who haven't gotten into it, that's totally fine. I'm sure that we have a whole bunch of new token listings that's going to probably explode sometime next few weeks. Don't know, but we have a whole bunch of new token listings every week. Definitely do your homework. Definitely check it out. And yeah, so that's that. But if you haven't have an account yet, it's really worth. It's free to open an account. It's free to check out the token listings. But definitely do your homework. I highly recommend reading the websites, what the project's about, And if you have enough FOMO, if you have enough like fundamental or analysis, because there's no data on these new token listings, right? Because they're like new smartly deployed smart contracts. So you really have to do your fundamental analysis on the project. And if it's a meme coin, then check how crazy it's going. It's flooding the Twitter or whatnot. But that being said, hopefully you guys have a good opportunity to take advantage of the new token listings that's coming out next week. A quick disclosure, anything that I disclose or is not financial advice in this AMA. It's just simply my analysis, my thoughts on the crypto market, and it's purely for educational purposes only, or take it as like a grain of salt, just my specific comment. That said, welcome back to our TA segment. This is our technical analysis part. We're going to take a look at the chart. I wish I could show you this visually, but because it's a Twitter Space AMA, I'm just going to do my best to be as verbally articulate as possible. But let's just start with the Bitcoin 4-hour time frame. And I only do Bitcoin because due to the Bitcoin dominance right now, it's like 53% or something like that. If you understand Bitcoin, you kind of understand pretty much all the other like top 100 tokens and where are they going, because everything pretty much follows Bitcoin at this point, since Bitcoin its dominance is off. It's more than 50% at this point. Anyway, so back on topic, the 4-hour time frame for TM. Looking at it right now on the trading view, and yeah, we're going a little sideways, but you know what? I don't like where we're going on the 4-hour time frame. I do if we hold this a little bit longer, great, but I'm not too sure how we're going to be able to, because we're going through a correction phase right now. And if you kind of see, if you zoom out and you actually see, like, it's actually the fourth wave, in the Elliott wave pattern. So if those are not familiar with the Elliott wave pattern, basically it goes, there's 5 up waves, and then there's 3 corrective waves. Right now, I believe we're in the fourth wave on the 4-hour time frame. However, I have a nice little push, but for the next one, the correction waves, I do expect a pretty fat correction. However, that's just my opinion. Definitely do your homework, guys. We did we did complete this small little downward correction not too long ago. I'm expecting another like C wave, corrective wave, but do keep in mind that even if we do hit like 71K, that is the upper part of the trend line. Like, I believe that if you're a trader, or even if you're an investor in this case, you should be really you should really exercise caution, guys. We're talking about the 4-hour time frame here. So like, unless you're a trader and you're trying to buy and sell on a daily, on like, every other day or every day, then you shouldn't be looking at the 4-hour time frame in this sense. But if you are a trader, you really have to take a cautious approach, because I think we've entered a really solid technical confirmation. We've seen this. This is pretty solid in my personal opinion. I do think that we do have this interesting rising trend channel going on the last like day and a half. And for like possibly the medium term, like, sure, this is positive development. But guys, like, we do have, like, if you zoom out on even the 12-hour chart, right, you start to see that there's a death cross, and it's emerging right now, even on the 12-hour chart. Now, it might take another day or two for it to really pop up on the day chart, but I usually don't go over 12-hour charts because it's kind of like the middle of everything. But that said, if you kind of give if you give like a quicker, a more shorter future sight into what's going to happen in a little bit longer term, we do have a death cross, and it has emerged on the 12-hour chart. Give it another day or two, we might start seeing creeping closer to the day chart. So, like, yeah, if we drop all the way down, like right now we're at 64K right now, like, and we're barely holding on to it. We're like knocking on the 63K door, like, for the last day and a half, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if we start dipping down like to 61K, or even all the way down to 59. I don't expect us to sit down anywhere less than 59. If we do, like, that'd be great. Pick up some more around 55, 54, but yeah, I don't think so. If you zoom all the way on the weekly chart, I know I'm jumping like time frames here and there, but if you zoom on on the weekly chart, you'll actually see that we have insane amount of strong support in 55. Like, I don't think you should even be considering anything less than 55 at this point. But like, if we do dip down to 61 and below, I think that's just a great buying opportunity. I think a lot of people are going to jump in regardless if you're a trader or if you're investor. That being said, if you are a trader, you should really be careful, because I think this is a really strong sell signal. This death cross, if it shows up sooner or later, we're going to have some pretty healthy pullback. And that's a good thing long term, because we do need this. We have had so much like interest in Bitcoin because the halving is just ridiculous. And so a little bit of sideways actions for the longer term is definitely healthy. I'm going to just quickly jump into the 1 day time frame now. That being said, just give me one quick second. I am changing my time frame. Yeah, we're going sideways. Like, this is pretty healthy for me. I do think that the next 2 months for the next 2 months is a really good time to like just accumulate, especially if we're going sideways. Then that's a strong signal to accumulate whatever funds, whatever you want to get in, because if we're going sideways for 2 months straight after the halving, and technically we're supposed to be having a nice correction, but this time, well, keep in mind, guys, that Bitcoin, we broke 2021's all-time high before the halving this time. So that's why like the miners didn't really have to sell as much. They didn't have to like close up shop and call it quits anymore, because Bitcoin has been holding its price all the way back to the last halvings, the 2020 halvings all-time high. And we hit that like many months ago for that even. So I don't think I don't think we're going to have a huge dip, but if we do have a nice dip, like pick up whatever you can. I'm just taking a look at this 1 day time frame. Like, we usually do have a nice healthy correction about now, and we tend to go sideways for at least 4, 5, 6 months. I don't see that happening, guys. We might go sideways for 2 months, but because of the spot Bitcoin ETFs and so much new investors sentiment, positive sentiment in this matter, I maybe like 2 months tops, maybe if we're lucky 3 months. But by the time we hit July, I hope you guys sold everything you don't need on secondhand and just put everything in crypto and buy back whatever you want early next year for that matter. But yeah, this is definitely looking pretty healthy in this regard. But yeah, I do see that 60K is really healthy, crucial support level. If we do break that, you better have a nice chunk to buy it. But at this point, we'll just have to wait and see for a few more days and see if we're going to knock on that 60K door and if we break down on there or not. All right. Hopefully that gives you a good idea in terms of where Bitcoin is going for the next foreseeable future. But like I said, if we do go sideways for another week or two, guys, this is just accumulation phase. Just pick up whatever you can before we start going parabolic. All right, let's jump into the fundamental analysis part. I think that was enough about technical. Excuse me, I just had to sneeze there for a second. All right, so let's jump into the fundamental part. And this week I have 3 pretty interesting projects I'd like to talk about. One of them is actually multiple projects, but we'll get into that later. The first one I do want to talk about is Chainlink. So right now it is it's actually a pretty big market cap. It's number 16. And I don't know why, but there hasn't been big news about Chainlink this week, but there should be, because Chainlink has been recently completed a really big availability launch for its cross-chain interoperability protocol. That's just long for CCIP, but just think of it as cross-chain protocol from Chainlink. And that is a huge milestone, guys. And you have to understand that pretty much most of the DeFi platforms out there, they all utilize Chainlink's oracles to try to make sure that they have the right data, the right price feed available. And this really applies to the whole DeFi ecosystem as a whole. So this huge upgrade, it really allows permissionless access to, of course, multi-chain transfers. right? And this also allows developers to really take advantage of these cross-chain asset transfers, of course, messaging, and of course, the support for various tokens and blockchains. That includes like a whole bunch of like layer one and layer two blockchains, Ethereum, Polygon, BNB chain, and etc. Right? So this huge interoperability protocol, that this huge update that we have now from Chainlink, it really provides the security and reliability. And this is huge because, like, you have to understand, like, Chainlink generates so much revenue. Like I think they generate almost like 7,000 US dollars a day because there's so many people utilizing Chainlink. It's the staple. It's almost like the, I guess you can say, it's the industry standard. I mean, yes, there's other oracles out there, but like Chainlink here, it's been time tested. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, they have been some issues back in the day, especially with relating to MakerDAO. That was an interesting story. But if you guys want to check out Chainlink, so we should be really focusing on what they're doing right. And they had the small little hiccups, or major hiccups, if you will, back in the days with MakerDAO. Anyways, so this new cross-chain interoperability protocol is really provided like huge adoption, not only for the crypto space, but also the legacy financial institutions. I think this is a big part. We have like huge like pilot programs that's from like what, Swift, Vodafone, Australian banks, guys. If you guys really take a little bit of time and look ahead, move a lot more safer in that respect, because last thing you want to know is you actually have like weird arbitrage opportunities when you actually have one price on one platform, another price on another platform different. So what usually people do, or what I usually do, is you buy for cheap and you sell it to another place for high, right? And you're selling the exact same thing, and that's arbitrage. But like, that's, in a way, that's good, healthy opportunities. But that's not supposed, in an ideal world, you're not supposed to have arbitrage opportunity for better or for worse. You should have like the stable price. Of course, there's always going to be different markets, right? But that being said, like, this new protocol, I believe it's going to give a lot of that traditional financial and as well as government leaders the opportunity to really jump in and to really be able to mass adopt tokenized institutional as well as real world assets. It's going to move so much old assets on chain, and with the help of Chainlink's cross-chain protocol, that is going to be able to happen. All right, that's like this one huge like border definitely taken down, huge gate that you don't have to worry about now. All right, so that also includes like onboarding a whole bunch of new people into the crypto ecosystem, guys. So when you implement these kind of like technical solutions to really reduce expenses, the operational cost of your Web3 project, you basically allow you allow projects to make their own tokens claimable by for any participants, right? Regardless if they're just a regular retail user or even like a traditional financial participant, right? So what I do believe that Chainlink is going to provide more insights into their services, which is something in like another month or two. We'll see how that goes. Excuse me. Overall, guys, Chainlink, I think this is huge. I'm looking forward to how this new cross-chain protocol is going to be able to help a lot of financial institutions, the traditional guys, to really be able to pull a lot of their assets on chain. Because without Chainlink, it gets a little bit wonky in that sense. Because it all comes down to risk management, and then when you don't have all of your layers covered, there's just too much risk to jump into it. So they might be thinking, oh well, maybe we should just give it a few more years for the whole ecosystem to develop, so we don't have to risk our clientele money, right? Unless you're a family office, then you're just risking your own money. But in that case, we're talking about the big financial bank guys. In that case, they're actually have to look it's all risk averse in this case, because they're actually managing the money of other people. They borrow money from other people, right? So that being said, once we have this cross-chain protocol up in place, I really do think a lot of traditional institutions are going to start considering moving their funds on chain and really digitizing them. All right, that's my first spiel. So if you haven't checked out Chainlink, I was always more into like the band protocol myself because I always find it fascinating how like the DeFi ecosystem on Cosmos was like a really good place for like DeFi to really grow because I hate to say this, but Chainlinks they've been in this space for a long time. They've been adopted in the Ethereum ecosystem, but they're a little bit slow in terms of like other layer one ecosystems like Cosmos. So I was always into band protocol, but like now that I've seen this, Chainlink has provided this new cross-chain protocol. I do think that Chainlink is definitely something you might want to look into, especially if you're a short-term trader, concerning the fact that for the last 7 days, yeah, we had a nice little pump because of the news, but it's pulled back down now. So it's just a matter of time until like Chainlink is just going to really gain a lot of momentum, especially when you start having like a whole bunch of news with like traditional finance institutions starting to use Chainlink as an oracle to onboard a lot of their assets. More and more of those news, it's always going to hype up the Link token. So this is something to definitely look into your portfolio. If you're a trader, if you're an investor, if you have been exposed to any oracles, I think the Link is definitely a safe one to go. If I had to re-choose my choice between Band Protocol and Link right now, and then I had a fresh protocol portfolio to work with, I think I'd probably dump my money in Link instead of Band right now. But it's time frames, right? It really comes down to your time frame, your time horizon. Anyway, so that's my spiel with Link. Definitely go check it out. It is a big market cap one, so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys already have a position in it. But if you don't, I think this is a great time to start looking into that. All right, the next one is not cryptocurrency, but it's linked to multiple blockchains with cryptocurrencies. And the next one I really want to talk about is actually a challenger bank. So for those who are not familiar with traditional definitions and traditional finance, a challenger bank is a bank that's using technology to provide better financial services. So be it like the banks that only exist online, they actually don't have physical stores, or they provide like a lot cheaper methods to move their funds overseas. The one that I do want to talk about, the one specific challenger bank in today's topic, is Stripe. So those who may not have heard of it, it's a global payments giant company. And the reason why I'm mentioning this, you guys are probably wondering, why are you talking about this? I'm here for cryptocurrencies. Well, the thing is, guys, they're making a comeback in the crypto space after, I think it was like 5 or 6 years. They wanted to get into crypto, but then they couldn't because, and then now they're back in again. And now they're actually utilizing Ethereum, Solana, and Polygon blockchains to provide USDC stablecoin payments. Guys, like, I know you're probably thinking, well, William, why are you telling me about stable coins and blockchains? Like, this is not going to help me buy in a specific position and, make money long term. But I need you guys to understand the implications of this. And this has huge implications, and not even the old traditional financial sector, but also on how we're going to perceive the US dollar as well as stablecoin adoption, but most importantly, where is liquidity going to go, right? So the more stable coins you have on a very specific blockchain, guys, the more liquidity you have on that one, layer one or layer two for that matter, when you have more liquidity, more stable coins, especially one that's so revered as USDC, you have a lot more. It's just security. That being said, guys, Stripe has specifically chosen to publicly disclose.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Ethereum, Solana, and I was a little surprised, Polygon. These specific three blockchains. Yeah, I know they're the top three, and you guys probably have a position in this already. But I was a little surprised with how they chose Polygon for that matter. That said, guys, we're gonna probably see a lot of traditional financial money moving into these three blockchains. Now, Ethereum's not the best place to start moving funds day in, day out because of the gas fees. However, like lately, gas fees hasn't been that bad. If I'm taking a quick look at gas fees right now, it's like on average 10 Gwei. That's a steal. I think I saw it yesterday around 8. So it's not too bad right now, but there's not a lot, going on right now, hence why we don't really have too much crazy gas demand. But that being said, guys, we're gonna see a lot of liquidity moving into Solana as well as Polygon. Now, I'm not surprised with Ethereum because it's just been here. It's for so long. It's been time tested. But we're gonna see a lot of financial money. And if I was doing some homework, I was doing some homework last night, and I was checking out where like financial institutions and where the interests are, in right now in Q2 compared to the last 4 months in Q1. And apparently, to my surprise, that a lot of people actually they don't think that Solana is a risk anymore. A lot of financial institutions are actually quite interested in buying positions in Solana. So they haven't had a big interest in Polygon yet, but consider the fact that Stripe have chosen Ethereum, Solana, and Polygon. It makes me really wonder if Polygon is the next blockchain that financial institutions will start to adopt and put money in. Now, we've yet to see financials, traditional institutions start putting money in Solana, but it's considering the fact that their interest has peaked since Q1. I mean, there's a whole bunch of articles out there about financial institution interest compared to Q1 2024 and Q2 right now. So you guys, please do your homework. Do not blindly trust me. I'm here to help you guys, to give you guys my comments and my thoughts, but definitely still do your homework, all right? Please don't blindly trust me. All right, but that being said, guys, we're starting to see a lot of financial institutions being interested in Solana. Now, it takes time to move funds in the TradFi, and that's kind of an understatement. And what I mean, it takes time. It takes a few months even to really hash out, especially if we don't have Solana spot ETF. It's kind of hard to actually move funds in a way so that these financial institutions in some indirect form actually owns the underlying SOL coins, the asset itself, right? But it is still possible. It's just it's a pain in the ass. So, but that being said, it does make me wonder that is this because Stripe has adopted and chosen these specific three blockchains. It really piques my interest. Is Polygon next? Now, if we're going to start seeing like money flow into Solana layer 1, that's great. I'm not surprised at all considering how big its market cap and how many developers are building on it right now. But what I am really interested in to see is whether Polygon is going to be the next one that traditional institutions are going to jump on board. Now, if Polygon does continue to start on board big major players and to build other layer 2 chains, that I think that's going to be a huge green light, decisive indicator that yes, we're going to see a huge financial institution start moving USDT stable coins onto Polygon. But until then, I think Polygon should be on your watch list and you really keep it out, considering the fact that if we do start seeing news that it doesn't have to be financial institutions, excuse me. It could just be like just companies, gaming companies, maybe any type of huge giants. But the moment they start using Polygon, I mean, like we already have Sony Bank started testing out their own stablecoins on Polygon testnet. I think if we start having a few big names start using Polygon for whatever purposes, hopefully less test reasons, but actually for main purpose deployment, main product deployment, then I think that it's going to be like a no-brainer that we're going to start seeing a lot more USDC stablecoin activity on the Polygon blockchain. So definitely come check it out. I know some of you guys might be thinking, oh my God, Polygon, it's still a little bit dead. I haven't seen any huge breakthrough. Optimism, Arbitrum just sucking liquidity away from it. Yes, that's true, but they've been busy. So I definitely keep that on your watch list if you haven't already. Do keep in mind, guys, that the integrating USDC stablecoin into the Stripe's payment platform, this really could solidify US dollar dominance. Now I know there's so much like news out there talking about like, BRICS, and they're trying to like de-dollarize. Guys, I understand that yes, because of for many reasons, historical reasons, US dollar is the dominant currency in the world. And whether that's good or bad, it's not going away. It's not going to de-dollarize. I know even if you're not living in North America like me, you guys understand, man. Like Russia needs ways to go around there's so many sanctions on Russia right now because of the Ukraine war, or whatever you call it, war or not, it's conflict, right? But let's call it for what it is. It's a war. And but that being said, Russia needs to adopt stable coins, right? So maybe not USDC because that actually the whole company exists in the United States. But even if they do, that's great, right? But that being said, they're not going to be able to dethrone the US dollar. Look at all the stablecoin market, like the whole stablecoin ecosystem. It's like 90% or maybe more, okay? But I'm just guessing right here, 90%. Maybe I'll just take a quick look later. But I've no doubt that's more. It's like 90%, if not more. It's all US dollar backed stablecoin or US dollar pegged stablecoin. Yeah, there's like the Korean won that's like really popular because the Koreans love cryptocurrency. So you see a lot of KRW out there, a lot of KRW trading pairs, especially on the Korean exchanges. But for the rest of the world, guys, we're 90%. We're still working with US dollars. Now, unless they start coming out, like, sure, well, I have no doubt we'll probably see like Russian ruble, like stable coin sooner or later. But then you're going to notice that US dollar is still going to be dominant in the cryptocurrency form. So as much as you're going to start seeing these news talking about like the de-dollarization, and you have all these new countries talking about not using US dollars to trade with each other, well, guess what, guys? Stripe just added USDC, and they're only using USDC right now. So if you're concerned that like US dollar is going to go out the window and be like, dominated by some other new crypto, it's not going to happen. Yeah, just look at the cryptocurrency space. It's all US dollar pegged. So that being said, I think this just really solidifies US dollar as the more dominant currency in the world. So if you are, especially if you want to like have a position in stable coins as like a hedge for whatever, like local currency that you're actually dealing with right now, I think USDC is a really safe way to deal it. I'm pretty sure they're not going to start using Silicon Valley Bank or risky banks like that to hold their assets anymore. So sure, they learned from that already. All right, hopefully that you guys have a better understanding on these three blockchains, Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, and how they will gain a lot more stablecoin liquidity in the near future. If not, we're probably going to see a huge amount of stablecoin ecosystem going to be growing significantly by the end of this year. I mean, it takes time. Like I said, traditional finance, it just takes time. They're like turtles compared to the cryptocurrency industry. Right, I think that's enough spiel the US dollar, but yeah, I do not think the US dollar is going to be destabilized or out dominated by another fiat currency. It's just there's no way. Like after looking at Stripe, like sure, like think of this way: you run a business in Africa and you want to like trade with, I don't know, say China. Well, guess what? You as a business, maybe as a government, you might not want US dollars or USDC or USDT for that matter, because you can't, because you're in the BRICS ecosystem, right? Excuse me, the BRICS alliance. But as a businessman, as a businesswoman, why on earth would you trade using your local currency when you can just trade in US dollar, USDC, USDT, right? Especially now when we have USDC through Stripe, guys. Like it just makes no sense. Like it makes sense politically, but look at from a business perspective. Like you can have, from political perspective, you can tell everyone in your country to start not use US dollars. Well, guess what? They're going to start using cryptocurrency, USDC, right? And then you have to like make new rules around cryptocurrency. But how are you going to do that when you don't even have your own like government's currency in cryptocurrency form, right? We only have USDT and USDC and a whole bunch of US dollar pegged crypto stable coins. Of course, we have a few other small ones, the euros, the Korean won, right? And soon we're probably gonna see the Japanese yen as well. But it's all US dollar pegged stable coin, guys. So yeah, I politically sure they can do whatever they want, but like logistically, like from a business perspective, it's not gonna work. Like I've known, I can't say their names. I don't want to get any country in trouble, but I know a whole bunch of like Chinese businesses. They interact in USDT and USDC, hands down. They don't deal with anything else. They only deal with US dollar stablecoin. I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't want to get them in trouble because they would get in serious trouble, but that's their business. They only work with stable coins. So take a grain of salt, do your homework, don't blindly trust me. But yeah, I don't think US dollar is going anywhere. But it will be digitized for better or for worse. All right, so let's move on to my third and last project, and you probably guys have heard of it sometime this week, and that is the Hedera blockchain. The token ticker is HBAR. Now, I know for those who are probably on top of the news, you're probably understanding why I might be mentioning this, but I've always taken the interest in Hedera. I personally have a position in Hedera myself. I think that their DAG blockchain is a great technology. A great technology. They don't have to wait for blocks to finish in order to like move the data from one node to another. I think it's just amazing technology because it's just how their nodes are set up. But anyways, for those who may not be aware, HBAR, the token itself, has really experienced a huge spike just a few days ago because there was this big misunderstanding. I believe some guy on Twitter, X platform, has mistakenly thought that BlackRock was directly involved with the whole like real world asset tokenization of their assets and on the Hedera blockchain, but that wasn't true, right? They were indirectly involved in a way because it was another party called Archax, right? ARCHA, Archax. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that properly. But Archax, they collaborated with Hedera, and I think that's already a big news already. And of course, Archax was the one responsible for the tokenization, not BlackRock. That's why you saw like the first the first 6-7 hours, like you see like HBAR like spiked by 90%, and then you had this 40% dump like 6-7 hours later. I remember I was talking about this with one of my like trader friends, and he was like, "Will, you should sell a whole bunch." I'm just like, "Oh, I'm too lazy to move, my position off my hardware wallet to exchange and sell them. Just whatever. I'm in it for the long run anyways." And then like 6-7 hours later, everyone realized, oh, there's a misunderstanding. But that being said, guys, despite this huge correction in HBAR price, look, I think this huge announcement really highlights the growing interest in real-world assets tokenization, specifically on Hedera blockchain. Now, just because BlackRock is not directly involved, this news itself of Archax utilizing Hedera blockchain to tokenize the real-world assets is indeed very, very bullish. Now, of course, yes, if you had BlackRock directly involved, that's beyond bullish. But guys, like, this is great news. Even though someone mistakenly hyped it for what it wasn't. And we had a small correction. What is 40? Now we had another 20% correction to this. Let me take a quick look. So we're still in the red right now. If I take a 4-hour time frame look, we're still going sideways now for the last 12 hours. So just give it some time. But considering this news has really pumped it from a good solid 9 cents all the way, and we're holding close to like 11.4 cents. This is bullish, guys, right? Sure, we had a little too high of an uptake all of a sudden for it was almost like 8. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. This was almost like a 12-hour pump, but no one realized that how good of this news was. I have no doubt that Hedera is going to start recovering more than later, soon enough, in the next couple of days. Once we go a few sideways, I have no doubt that someone's going to find the opportunity to start buying into it. Because if you have Archax start using Hedera as a way to tokenize real world assets, who's next, right? And considering the fact that Hedera is so efficient, it's so cheap, it's so light. I mean, it's like, and then soon we're gonna have what's that word I'm looking for? Carbon. Carbon taxes, right? And like we're going to see huge companies starting to use Hedera blockchain for carbon tax and carbon emission, like just regulations itself, because it's the lightest blockchain out there. It doesn't take a lot of energy to run Hedera. And I remember last time I was like taking a look around my the Hedera, the validators that are validating the Hedera protocol, and I actually noticed like a whole bunch of huge companies like Samsung is running their own validator on Hedera, guys. Samsung, yes, it's a huge company. If you have like an OLED like screen, it's probably made by Samsung. Like I wouldn't be surprised. But you have huge validating companies validating the Hederas as nodes, as they're running their own nodes as validators, guys. So if you guys haven't heard about Hedera, man, like definitely go check it out. This is huge. If you look ahead, if all these new integrating of tokenized assets, particularly money market funds, guys. Of course, Archax could enhance liquidity and as well as accessibility for more investors. But what I'm trying to make, the point I'm trying to make is by leveraging this new blockchain technology, Hedera blockchain technology, the platforms are going to offer instantaneous transfer. All right. And I'm talking about not just real world assets transfers, right? You have provide so many different advantages in terms of efficiency and risk management. Like when you have these huge companies out there like Samsung running like nodes, like the blockchain's not going anywhere, guys. And unless you're calling the people behind Samsung stupid idiots, but they're not. They're smart in their own industry, right? But they chose to run a Hedera node, and there's a whole bunch of other amazing, huge companies out there that run Hedera nodes too. So definitely do your own work. Don't want to shill this out there. Don't blindly trust me. I want you guys to do your own homework. But I think that like as more real world assets are going to be tokenized, I think we're going to see a lot of that on Hedera blockchain. I really do, because considering that Hedera makes it so easy to help these guys on board and so smoothly to add capital and interest from just financial investors, like the old guys, the traditional financial investors. This is going to further solidify their role in the crypto, the whole Web3 industry, not just the cryptocurrency industry. And this is going to bring them to like a global platform, unless you think that they're not already. But I do think that, I do think that Hedera has a bright future. So for those who might not be familiar with Hedera, they use something called a directed acrylic graph. So long for DAG, right? So it's a very interesting technology that really positions Hedera as really like in the front of the innovation. So for those who might not be aware, actually, for those who might be interested in Phantom blockchain, I actually love Phantom. That was really interesting because what was it? They were actually considering using copying Hedera blockchain technology, the DAG technology, in place for Phantom, until they realized, okay, well, maybe they shouldn't copy instead. But if you have like the big shots over the Phantom Foundation talking and so high in Hedera, that says a lot, guys, right? So if you haven't checked out Hedera, please definitely check it out. I think there's a long way to go. I'm just going to quickly just kind of give you a quick little spiel about a little bit more Hedera, because I think a lot of people might not be familiar with DAG-based ledgers like Hedera, because it's very different than your traditional blockchain systems. And the reason being is when you use DAG-based blockchain, I wouldn't even call it a blockchain because you don't really deal with blocks itself. But when you're using with DAGs, what happens is the transaction processing, it occurs like immediately, like immediately across multiple nodes. Like, so normally you're waiting for like one node and then to pass on the next information, and then another block You have to wait for blocks to finish so the nodes would actually like register this information. Well, it doesn't work that way on a DAG quote unquote blockchain. It's not really a blockchain, but yeah, it's a DAG ledger, right? So you basically eliminate the need for miners and of course associated energy consumption, right? Because you don't have to deal with like the generation of blocks or the miners itself, right? So this is huge efficiency, guys. It not only reduces, of course, the transaction fees, but of course, it allows transactions to go from all sizes, big or small. And this really helps with the decentralization, but most importantly, the democratizing aspect of the network. That said, guys, these DAGs, they also help enable quicker transversal of nodes. Long story short, basically optimizes the whole network performance, right? And that's why it's so light in a way. Now, it might not be as light as, say, like the Mina protocol. That blockchain is light as that's really light. I'm really impressed, but this is as light as it gets without sacrificing efficiency and still using a DAG technology. So I think Hedera is committed to their DAG-based technology. I think that really highlights them as a pioneering future successful, and they're going to be here for long future. They're going to be the ledger that's going to be here in the long term. I cannot wait to see more DAG based ledgers. I mean, maybe sure if you want to call it a blockchain, sure you can call it blockchain, but they're DAG based. They're ledgers. They're not really a blockchain, but sure, I call it DAG based blockchain if that makes your life easier. I do think that they're going to be a pivotal role. Now, do keep in mind though that Hedera does focus on institutions, right? So, but yeah, you can use Hedera to like send funds as a medium exchange, totally fine too. Like I wouldn't do that. I just if you want to do that, you'd use like stable coins. You use USDC if you or even like USDT on the Tron network if you're like Asian. I don't know why. There's something about like East Asia loving Tron network and sending USDT on Tron. I just can't figure it out, guys. So one of these days I'll probably have to write an article and try to do like a play detective and try to figure out why on earth, especially Asian peoples like Singaporeans, Chinese people in Hong Kong, they love USDT on the Tron network. I think it's just like maybe like for like tax avoidance purposes on their end. I'm not sure, but when you move to like the on like the North American side, you start seeing like more USDC and USDT, but not on Tron network, like on safer networks, like say Solana or Ethereum for that matter. Anyway, so something to keep in mind. I really do look forward to hopefully sooner or later we'll have some interesting like stable coins on Hedera. That'll definitely open things up. But until then, just have to see how much that's going to grow. And I had definitely tell you something. I have HBAR on my watch list as a trader and as an investor too. I'm just waiting for the dip. So, all right. So that's enough. That's enough spiel for this way. I'm going to just give, let's go into the Q&A section. I'm going to just pass the mic to whoever who has any questions and then go from there. Just feel free to put your hand up. All right, so I don't see anyone requesting a mic, but with that, we wrap up today's AMA. Thank you very much for everyone who joined us for today's Twitter Space session. Until the next one, please stay curious. Please keep learning. Have a good one.